Ms. Mace from South Carolina.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for the invitation to participate in today's hearing. Ms. Goss-Graves, so-called, quote, expert in women's rights, do you know how many years it took South Carolina to elect its first Republican woman to Congress?
Well, what year did
100 years since women got the right to vote. Do you know how many years it took the Citadel, the military college of South Carolina, to graduate its first woman?
Well,
157 years. So I have a series of yes or no questions I would like to ask you based on some of your previous statements. In your opening statement today, you said trans women are women. Ms. Goss-Graves, what is a woman?
So a woman is an adult female. A woman identifies as a woman, and I actually think it is.
What do you consider a female? What is a female?
What's up, freedom fighters? Welcome back to Conservative Chronicle, where we speak the truth loud and proud, no apologies, no censorship, and no woke nonsense allowed. Today, we're diving into a video that's making waves across the country. And let me tell you, it should. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, a fierce voice from South Carolina, absolutely torches radical gender ideology and calls out the dangerous nonsense being pushed under the disguise of inclusion. And folks, I'm here for it. So let's set the stage. This was a congressional hearing on women's sports. And once again, the left trotted out so-called experts who can't even define what a woman is. You'd think, if you're defending women's rights, you'd know what a woman actually is. But nope, not in 2025, not in woke America. Congresswoman Mace steps in bold, calm, and razor sharp and starts asking the questions the American people want answered. Real questions. Biological reality questions. The kind of questions that expose just how far off the rails the radical left has gone. Mace begins with a simple question: what is a woman?
So there are some women who were assigned a female.
You say you're here to defend women. You say you're here to defend women, but shouldn't you be able to define one? Shouldn't you be able to define one if you're for women's rights?
That's literally what I'm.
Ms. Goss-Graves, do women have penises?
So again, I believe that women.
Democrats have gone so crazy. Women can have penises. That's not a thing. That's not biology. It's not science. And you sound like a lunatic.
And the women.
Should young girls just get used to penises in their locker rooms and showers? My next question: yes or no? Should little girls get used to penises in their locker rooms and showers? Yes or no?
I don't know what you're talking about, but what I will say.
Oh, I absolutely do. We've heard testimony today about trans women. Those are women with penises. Those aren't real women. I'm going to reclaim my time. When President Trump issued an executive order to keep men out of women's sports, thank God he did. You said it was sexist.
Yes.
Bullying that harms all students.
Correct.
Is it sexist, yes or no, to protect women from men in sports? Yes or no?
If
Can't answer the question. Is it sexist to acknowledge basic science? Men and women are built differently. Is it sexist to acknowledge science? Can't answer the question. Does forcing little girls to strip down in front of men in locker rooms harm girls? Does forcing little girls to strip down in front of men in the locker room harm little girls? Yes or no? Can't answer the question. Does forcing little girls to shower? I'm going to reclaim my time. You can quit talking. These are yes or no questions. You can answer them or not. And you've chosen not to answer the questions today because you don't know how. It's shameful.
You know how to answer.
Do you support drugging and chopping off kids' genitals in the name of inclusion? Is that a thing for you?
I have to say,
you get off on that?
So stunned.
All right. When a biological man crushes a girl in a contact sport and sends her to the ER, is that your idea of empowerment? Does that empower women when a young man beats a girl and takes her, sends her to the ER in a contact sport? Is that empowering women? Is that what that is?
Are you talking about Ms. McNabb?
I'm talking about any woman who gets crushed in a sport by a man physically and has to go to the ER.
Ms. McNabb and others.
I'm going to reclaim my time.
Protocol.
Madam Chair, we'll show that the witness. I'm going to reclaim my time. You can stop talking now. I'm reclaiming.
This is Ms. Mace's time, Ms. Goss-Graves.
I would like some of that time back, Madam Chair. If a man can be a woman, just identify as a woman, as you say, just by saying so, what is the point of having women's sports? What is the point of women's spaces? What is the point of women's scholarships? If you're just going to allow men to take them away, why even bother? Why bother? The loudest voices, I'm not asking you a question, I'm speaking. The loudest voices on the left claiming to fight for women's rights are the very first people to take them away, steal them, and tear these women down. You're the first to erase them. Mr. Liefeld, Ms. Goss-Graves, you all are shameful. I didn't come here to play with an ideology hell-bent on erasing women and grooming children. That's what you all are. You're groomers. And we're not
That is
going to.
shocking
The
and
chairwoman and I,
terrible.
Madam Chair,
And I
I'm going to
cannot
reclaim
believe
my.
But this is
That
Miss
allowed.
Mace's time. Miss Goss Graves.
This
Miss
is
Goss Graves.
This is a shocking thing to
This
say about
Miss
women.
Goss Graves. You are not recognized.
Okay, but I just want to say that is a shocking.
You are
thing
not
to say about
recognized, Miss
anyone.
Goss Graves. The time belongs to Miss Mace.
Okay, fine.
Like Chairwoman Graham, I've been holding the line for women, standing between perverts and the rights of women and girls. And we're not going to let anyone in this country forget what a woman is. Mr. Layfelt, will you face Ms. Stephanie Turner today? Will you look her in the eyes? Will you apologize to her for the way that she was treated by USA Fencing, standing up for women and girls, women's rights, standing her ground as a woman who only wanted to fence with other women? Will you apologize to her today?
Congresswoman Mace, Ms. Turner was given a black card under our rules.
Will
which
you
aligns with those of
apologize for the way
International
she was
Federation.
treated? So that's a no.
So,
won't do it.
Congresswoman, if I could respond to one thing.
You know what's
In Ms.
unbecoming of a
Turner's-
leader? You said this just in your testimony just like 5 minutes ago.
Yes, ma'am.
That you've said several things that are just disgusting and unbecoming of a leader, to use your words. It's unbecoming of a leader today to acknowledge what has happened to this young woman. You just look at her face and look what she has been through, the courage it took her to stand up for her rights as a woman and other women in other sports all across the country. And you can't even as a man look her in the eye and apologize for what happened to her. And as not one. And I yield back.
The gentlelady yields. In closing, I want to thank our witnesses once again.
And guess what? The witness Fatima Goss Graves, the president of the National Women's Law Center, completely fumbles it, can't define it, starts talking about assigned at birth and identity. Folks, this is where we are now. The left has hijacked the most basic truths that men and women are biologically different. And if you point that out, you're called a bigot. Mace goes in harder. Do women have penises? And this expert can't even answer that. Should little girls get used to seeing male genitals in the locker room? No answer. And let me tell you something, silence is a response. And in this case, silence screams complicity. You know what's sick? That we're even having this debate. We're now telling our daughters that if they want to play sports or use a school locker room, they might have to change clothes next to biological males. This isn't just absurd, it's a safety issue. It's a privacy issue. It's a basic human dignity issue. Nancy Mace stood up and said what every sane parent in America is thinking. This isn't okay. And when she brought up how biological males are injuring girls in sports, sending them to the ER, all we got from the witness was deflection. And then we get to the story of Stephanie Turner, a female fencer who just wanted to compete against other women. She stood her ground. She was punished. And when Mace asked if USA Fencing would apologize to her, crickets. More cowardice. Let me say this loud and clear. Refusing to acknowledge the harm being done to women, whether it's in sports, scholarships, or safe spaces, is not compassion. It's cowardice. It's betrayal. And it's the exact opposite of leadership. Now, the moment that really hit hard, Mace looked these witnesses in the eye and called them out for what they're enablers of a radical ideology. She said, "You're not fighting for women, you're erasing them." And she's absolutely right. Let me say something that may get me canceled, but I don't care. Biology is not hate speech. Women are women. Men are men. There is no reality where a man becomes a woman by saying so, or vice versa. You can respect people and still hold a line on truth. But the woke mob doesn't want truth, they want submission. Patriots, this is about way more than locker rooms or sports. This is about truth versus lies. It's about protecting the foundation of our society, our daughters, our families, our God-given common sense. The left is trying to gaslight America into believing that up is down, man is woman, and that standing up for basic biology is bigotry. That's not just wrong, it's dangerous. And the more we allow this lunacy to creep into our schools, our laws, and our institutions, the more we surrender to a world where truth no longer matters. So here's what we do. We support people like Nancy Mace who aren't afraid to speak the truth. We teach our kids that facts matter and that courage isn't hate. And we stand firm, even when the woke mob comes knocking. Because this isn't just about sports. It's about the soul of our country. If you believe in truth, in women's rights, in the Constitution, and in common sense, you are not alone. Share this video. Like it. Subscribe. And sound off in the comments below. Do you think Nancy Mace went too far? Or do you think she didn't go far enough? Until next time, stay bold, stay brave, and stay patriotic. God bless America.